You did everything right. And that was exactly the problem. No one who works hard expects that to be their biggest obstacle. You made yourself indispensable. You became reliable. You became the person things do not work without. And that is exactly why they did not move you. Not always because they forgot about you. Sometimes because keeping you where you are was more convenient than recognizing you. That is not always an injustice. Sometimes it is exactly the plan. There is a meeting that happens without you, a conversation about who is ready for the next level. In that room, the people making the decision are not looking at your track record of deliverables. They are building a narrative about who fits the role that just opened up. And if no one in that room is telling your story, you simply do not appear. Not because you are invisible, but because you are too useful exactly where you are. When you have spent a long time solving problems without escalating, without complaining, without letting anything fall apart, you become something very specific to the organization. Not someone with potential, someone who is costly to move. Promoting you means replacing you. And replacing someone who works quietly creates risk, gaps, and extra work for whoever would have to manage that transition. The safest option for them is to leave you exactly where you are. It is not cruelty, it is calculation. And the longer you stay there, the easier it becomes to start drawing the wrong conclusion. You start thinking that you are missing something, that if they still have not moved you, it must be because you are still not ready. And that interpretation is dangerous because it makes you double your effort in the exact place that is keeping you stuck. And this is where almost everyone misreads what they are experiencing. Your boss announces that a new position opened up, one level higher. You have spent 3 years being the person who holds together the processes that position oversees. Everyone in the room knows it. But the name that gets mentioned is not yours. It is the name of someone who has been there less time, who has made visible mistakes, but who has had strategic conversations with leadership that you never had. That is not fiction. It happens with a regularity that should make anyone uncomfortable who believes that work speaks for itself. And here a lot of people make the most expensive mistake. They think the solution is to stop trying so hard. No. The solution is not to become mediocre. The problem was never that you worked too much. The problem was believing that quiet execution, by itself, builds a career. It does not. It sustains one, and sustaining is not the same as advancing. If you want to understand how the professional game really works, not the way it is sold to you, but the way it operates on the inside, subscribe to this channel. Because what keeps you stuck in many companies is not always a lack of talent. Many times it is not understanding the real rules. What happens after that meeting is also predictable. They assign you the difficult projects, the clients no one else wants to handle. They tell you that you're doing an extraordinary job, but they do not promote you. They just make your current job bigger. You train the new person. She learns in weeks what took you years to master. 6 months later, that person is your peer, or your boss, and she starts taking part in the strategic conversations that were never opened up to you. You are the technical reference on the team. She starts becoming the reference for the future. You solve the chaos in a critical project. The team pulls through. But the person who presents the results to senior leadership is someone else. That person gets the visibility that you created. And that is where a much quieter erosion begins. Not only do you work more, you start to feel that your effort loses shape inside the company. That you are indispensable for solving problems, but disposable when it comes to advancing. You receive genuine praise in your one-on-one meeting. Your boss tells you that you are invaluable. When a company calls you invaluable, sometimes it is not describing you. It is immobilizing you. But that still is not the most expensive part. The most expensive part is what happens to your development while all of that is going on. When you spend a long time being very competent at the same thing, you stop learning. Not because you are careless, but because you already optimized. You already know the systems, the shortcuts, the way to get the result without having to think too much. That efficiency feels like mastery. But it is not mastery. It is repetition with accumulated experience. The skills that make you extraordinary in your current position, execution, reliability, command of the process, are not the same ones required one level up. At the higher level, it is about strategy, managing ambiguity, delegating, making decisions with incomplete information. Companies do not train you for that before promoting you. They expect you to already be demonstrating it, but they do not give you the space to demonstrate it. That closed loop is what blocks career advancement for people who, on paper, should be moving forward. The trap does not end when they overload you. It gets worse when they start confusing you with the role. Organizations label people quickly, not in writing, but in the way people talk about you in meetings you do not attend. You are the reports person. You are the one who handles difficult clients. You are the one who fixes things when something breaks. And that label, which at first looks like recognition, over time becomes the only frame through which they see you. Your boss gets a message asking for someone to lead a new project. He has 30 seconds to respond. The name he types is the one that comes to mind first. That name is almost never the one of the person who executes quietly. It is the one of the person who had a conversation with him last week about career goals. Once the label is in place, every year that goes by reinforces it. Staying in the role is not read as loyalty. It is read as confirmation that this is your natural place. In America, there is a very recognizable profile inside companies. It is the woman who does not complain, the one who absorbs what everyone else does not want to carry, the one who holds the team together during the crisis and disappears from the story when success arrives. That profile is not a character flaw. It is the result of believing that making an effort without making noise is a virtue. And in many corporate environments, that virtue gets used. It does not get rewarded. Over time, that even distorts the way you evaluate yourself. You stop asking whether you are growing. You start asking only whether you are still useful. And a career is not built only from usefulness. It is also built from direction, narrative, and position. That is why some people need to change companies in order to grow. Not because the company is toxic, but because the company has already decided who you are. And sometimes the only way to become someone different professionally is to go somewhere that no one has a prior story about you. The system has no incentive to tell you that your operational excellence is costing you growth. It works too well exactly the way it is. And when you stay quiet, what it interprets is not discretion, it is conformity. If you are not talking about what you want, leadership assumes that you are happy. And if you are happy, there is no urgency to move you. The people who advance are not always the most competent. Many times they are the ones who understood something uncomfortable before you did. That excellent work without context becomes invisible very quickly to the people making the decisions. That reliability gives you an operational reputation, but it does not always give you a leadership narrative. They are the ones who build relationships outside their immediate team, the ones who have had direct conversations about what they want, not with drama, with clarity, with the attitude of someone who is growing, with or without that position. That changes the organization's calculation. Suddenly, there is a clock running, and organizations respond to risk with a speed they never dedicate to quiet merit. So what changes when you understand this? You stop confusing indispensability with growth. Being irreplaceable in your current role does not protect you. It anchors you. Being the person who holds everything together can make you important inside the team, but it does not always give you a future inside the company. You start building narrative, not just results. Talking about your work with the people who make decisions is not bragging. It is making visible what you produce to the people who do not see it up close. Because the decisions about your career are not made by the person who knows you best. They are made by the person who has a story about you in mind when an opportunity appears. You make it explicit what you want. Organizations do not guess ambitions. They respond to clear signals. And if you have never given that signal, the system has no reason to treat you like someone in motion. You start investing time in developing the skills of the next level, even if you are not at that level yet. Because if you wait for the promotion to learn what that level requires, you are always going to arrive late to that conversation. Those four things are not tricks. They are the difference between operating with the full map and continuing to operate blindly in a system that never explained its real rules to you. The system does not always punish the less capable person. Many times it immobilizes the more reliable one first. No one told you that hard work without visibility is only half of the equation. No one explained to you that the person who walks in tomorrow, with less experience than you, but with more clarity about how this game is played, is going to advance faster. Not because that person is better, but because that person knows something no one ever taught you. The first step to getting out of a trap is always recognizing that you are inside one. And what makes the difference is not working more. It is working with the right map. This channel exists to give you that map. If what you just heard gave a name to something you were living through but could not explain, give this video a like. That signal tells the algorithm that this content deserves to reach more people who are navigating the corporate world without understanding the real rules. And if you do not want to keep being the most reliable person in the room and the last one to advance, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because that is exactly what we solve here.